Michael Patrick Leahy going live.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning to the John Fredericks Media Network. It is Wednesday morning, December 3rd, 2025. A big day, a big Trump victory here in Middle Tennessee. Yesterday, Congressman Matt Van Epps basically won easily by 9 points in the special election in the TN7 race. We'll talk about that in the Morning Rundown. The Morning Rundown is brought to you every day at this time, every weekday at this time, by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in deep red, Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's the Morning Rundown for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Number one, GOP nominee Matt Van Epps easily won the TN7 special election yesterday over that Marxist Democrat Afton Bain by 9 points, proving that the biased Emerson poll released last week, showing a virtual tie, undersampled Republican voters by 10 points, as we reported the day the poll was released. Number two, we'll hear a victory speech last night from Matt Van Epps and the, quote, concession, end quote, speech by Afton Bain. Number three, Democrats are beating the drums on the alleged, quote, war crimes of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. It's all made up propaganda. Phil Klein, the legal expert from Liberty University, will join us in hour two to talk about that. Number four, also in hour two, Bob France, the veteran Cleveland, Ohio radio broadcaster and host of the Bob France Show, will join us in hour two to talk about the midterms, what the midterms look like and what's going on in Ohio with that gubernatorial race. Number five, our very own Tom Pappert will join us in hour two, bottom of hour two, with analysis of the Tennessee 7 election. Number six, Donald Trump impersonator Sean Farash will join us in hour three. Number seven, this is interesting, Trump accounts for kids. This is basically the federal government's going to put $1,000 into an account for every child born, I think from January 1st of this coming year for 3 consecutive years. And Michael Dell just announced that he's going to put $6 billion into that account. How much does that work out per child? I think they said something like $250 a child for 25 million kids. I haven't even done the numbers on that. But that's a good thing. And there will be more billionaires doing that. Outstanding. And number eight, State Senator Mark Pody, who represents all of Williamson County and parts of Davidson County, will be here in studio momentarily. But right now, that's the Morning Rundown for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Brought to you, as I've said, by our friends at the Glock Store. Glockstore.com, which is, as you know, a great Tennessee business. They moved here from California 5 years ago, and they are very glad they did. Founded by the great Lenny McGill. I've gone there and learned how to shoot. I've never shot a gun in my life until I was trained last year, a couple years ago, at the Glock Store. They've got these great Shoot 270 ranges. You know, you go to most ranges and it's like straight ahead. That's not very, very narrow lane, right? That's not how these things really happen in real life. You can go into one dedicated room and you've got a 270-degree angle of shooting, and it's really outstanding. And the instructors there, beyond fabulous. Now, if you're here in town or if you drove, they had a big Black Friday celebration on the day after Thanksgiving. Huge giveaways. But wait, there's more, as they say. Yes, if you are interested, this is really such a great thing that they're doing. You can have your Christmas photos taken with Tactical Santa, okay? And now, go to the Glock Store. You can bring your firearms, your pets, your kids, whatever you want, right? And have a picture taken with Tactical Santa. Now, this is not your typical jolly old St. Nick, right? This is Santa Claus decked out in tactical gear. And for $25, you can get your photos taken with them. And here's the thing to do. Take your firearms, your kids, your pets. Go and get a photo with Tactical Santa, $25 at the Glock store. And then send it to all of your liberal friends. Isn't that great? TacticalSanta.com. You can go to the Glock store just a couple miles from the airport, glockstore.com, and go to the Glock store. It's this Friday, day after tomorrow, and Saturday, and then next Friday, next Saturday. And this is really a great idea. I highly recommend it. Glockstore.com, our good friend Lenny McGill, CEO and founder. And we've got to get Lenny here in studio. Or maybe we'll go out there. Maybe, just maybe, we'll have to ask the folks at the Glock store. Maybe we'll do a broadcast from the Glock store someday. That would be kind of fun. I think we can do that. We can work on that as well. All right, so there you go. That is the morning rundown for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Okay, so let's go right into the victory speech by Matt Van Epps last night, and we'll do the breakdown. Here's the bottom line. Early voting, remember, Emerson Poll said it was a virtual tie. No, he won by 9 points, and it wasn't even close, really. And if you look at it, the Democrats spent I think over $6 million in various groups to promote Afton Bain. Afton, I think on the Republican side, maybe spent $4 million. So we got outspent. But early voting, 84,000 votes cast. Afton Bain nearly won that by 2,500 votes. But Election Day, listen to this, 96,000 votes cast. And Matt Van Epps won that by 18,000 votes. Here we go. Last night, Matt Van Epps with his victory speech.
Wow. Wow, awesome. This is amazing. Governor, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, hello, Tennessee. What a night. What a night. We did it. Thank you. Thank you all. This is just an incredible win. An incredible win. Tonight, you've sent a message loud and clear. The people of Middle Tennessee stand with President Donald J. Trump and stood firmly behind our campaign. I am humbled beyond belief to stand before you tonight as your next representative.
Well, there you go. And basically, it's true. Trump got it out there. Trump made it happen. We'll have more details on that when we talk to Mark Pody in a bit, and then also when we talk to Tom Pappert in hour 2. Now, Afton Bain. Remember, she's the one who hates country music. They decked her out in a rhinestone, outfit like a country music star, glammed her all up. And, she looks very different than she did in those homemade videos where she's out trying to, quote, bully ICE officers. Here's her, quote, concession speech from last night. Let's go.
Good evening, everybody. It's election night, and the Associated Press is calling the 7th District Congressional Special Election race for the Republican nominee Matt Van Epps over Nashville Democrat Afton Bain. The race was not as tight as the last poll suggested it might be.
Well, the race to fill Mark Green's congressional seat left open after he retired from public office. Fox 17 News with team coverage of the race as the results have national implications. We'll go out live to North Nashville, as you can see on your screen here. Matt Van Epps just wrapped up his speech tonight. He had, according to the AP, 95,470 votes. That was 53.8% of the votes tonight, compared to Afton Bain's 80,181 votes, 45.2% of the vote. That's 98% of precincts reporting.
And Afton Bain, the Democrat in this race, who ran a big campaign and really went for it, is speaking right now. Let's listen in.
Oh my goodness, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I know tonight was not what the results we wanted, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have a bunch of thank yous, so I want to start with my family and friends that are here tonight. Chris, my parents, Amanda, Mrs. Smith, Kelly, my team, oh my gosh, my campaign team. If you're my campaign team, raise your hand. They worked so hard. They did such a phenomenal job. We outperformed every metric that we needed. They killed it. I want to thank our senior advisor.
Okay, so obviously she's all excited about that. That, by the way, thanks to Fox 17 for that clip. She's basically trying to be, I don't know, Trisha Yearwood in terms of that outfit. She hates country music, but now she's all for affordability, and she lost. We'll be back with Mark Pody and my analysis of this after the break.
Legal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Ready to turn your idle equipment into cash? Purple Wave Auction is your solution. We specialize in no-reserve online auctions, bringing nationwide buyers to your doorstep. From excavators to dozers, we'll market your assets to a vast audience of eager buyers. No hauling required. We photograph and list your equipment where it sits. Experience our transparent and simple process with expert support. Join successful sellers who trust Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com today to learn how easy selling can be.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My Patriot Supply, America's most trusted survival food company, wishes you and yours a very Merry Christmas. As our gift to you, we've got an amazing deal on survival food kits. Buy one, gift two. That's right, for a limited time, when you grab our best-selling 4-week emergency food kit, we'll include 2 one-week kits free to hand out as gifts. That's 4 weeks of emergency food for you, and 2 ready-to-give gifts for anyone on your list who's into preparedness, or anyone who needs a nudge in that direction. But they're only available for a limited time. Grab yours at mypatriotsupply.com and give the gift of food security this Christmas. With 2,000 calories per day, 16 delicious meal and snack varieties, and up to 25-year shelf life, it's no wonder our 4-week food kit is the best-selling emergency food supply of all time. But the buy one, gift two Christmas special won't last long. So claim yours now at mypatriotsupply.com. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Okay, well, it was much ado about nothing much. That's what our friend Roger Simon, who will be here on Friday, great author, great writer, said about the election results yesterday, and he's quite right. Matt Van Epps easily won by 9 points, and all of the poobahs are saying, oh, he didn't win by 20 points or 22 points like Trump. Look, they spent $6 million and didn't work out so well. Now, yesterday afternoon, I was on Stephen K. Bannon 2 hours and 40 minutes before the polls closed, and I think I called it. Here we go. Let's play that clip right now.
Michael Patrick Leahy, first things first, Tennessee. This is a must-win. President Trump won it by 22 for a whole host of reasons. The polling got very tight here, and then everybody kind of pulled together. You've got some breaking news for us, brother. What do you got, Michael Patrick Leahy?
Very strong Election Day turnout today in all 14 counties that comprise the 7th district here in Tennessee. And I've talked to some key sources that are familiar with turnout numbers, and it looks like the projections are Election Day turnout may equal or surpass early voting. Early voting, remember, 84,000 votes. We thought that was pretty much a wash between Afton Bain and Matt Van Epps, looking at the counties involved. But Election Day, you're going to have more Republicans turn out. And so my projection had been we'd have a lower than early voting turnout. I thought we'd have 68,000 turnout on Election Day. Looks like we'll have 84,000. As a result, I told you privately that I anticipated that Matt Van Epps would win by 5 to 6 points with this higher Election Day turnout. So far, I think right now we're on track for a 10-point victory by Matt Van Epps tonight. But so there we go. I called it. Mark Pody, State Senator Mark Pody, who represents parts of Davidson County, all of Wilson County. Yesterday, all of the national press, the push pollsters at Emerson Poll said it's a virtual tie. No, didn't work out that way. It wasn't. I called it a 10-point victory. It was a 9-point victory. I'd say that's pretty good.
That is awesome. You hit it right on the head. And I'm going to tell you that the hype that they were talking about and saying that this was going to be so close and such, that's all it was. You know, I think that Van Epps did a great job in getting the people in and such, but when you're having that much money spent against you, no matter who that candidate was.
We've looked at it, and I think they've spent over $6 million. And our side spent maybe $4 million.
I mean, that's just an incredible amount of money for a congressional race. But in a special election, you never know. And they did energize their base on the Democratic side, especially in Davidson County for a while.
Especially in Davidson County for a while. Now, you represent parts of Davidson County.
I do. So this election is going to be really bringing home things that we had to learn, and there were lessons that we have to learn in this. And I will tell you that I don't know if they could have had a worse candidate as an example, because of the things when she says, I hate Nashville, and what she would do against ICE. I mean, literally an activist that way.
So she said she hated Nashville. Did you catch what she was wearing last night at her, quote, concession speech?
They dressed her up, didn't they?
They dressed her up to look like a young Dolly Parton. Is that so? Obviously, and she, I mean, I don't know how much they spent on hair and makeup on her, but it was a lot. And they glammed her up, and they basically Nash Vegas'd her, is what they did, right? And then her message was affordability. Clearly, she's this. The messaging of Afton Bain, as presented by the Democrats, was very different than the reality of Afton Bain.
Absolutely, absolutely. So their messaging was. They dressed her up much better. So not only physically yesterday, but during the campaign, they dressed her up differently than what she was.
Significantly. Now, this district, and I watched the numbers very carefully. 14 counties. When I was on Bannon, I said, well, look, we looked at the early voting, and it's 84,000 votes were cast early voting. And I had originally thought that the game day, election day turnout would be lower. But that all changed because national conservative media outlets, our outlet, others focus on get out the vote. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson came in, and the National Republican Congressional Campaign Committee came in. They did a lot of get out the vote. But what was interesting about that, on Election Day, we heard that turnout was great. When I said that I thought he'd win by 10 points, I thought we'd have Election Day turnout of 84,000. To match early voting of 84,000. Oh, no. Election day turnout was 96,000.
Republicans came out. They absolutely came out on voting day.
Well, she won the early vote by 2,500 votes.
Strictly because of Davidson County.
You nailed it. She won her margin in Davidson County, 21,000 votes cast. She got basically 18,000 of those votes, early voting. He got 3,000. But on election day, 21,000 votes turned out in Davidson County. She got 15,000, and he got 6,000.
Yes.
So her margin. So on election day, Republicans in Davidson County turned out.
Yes, they did.
The few of them that are there.
Well, and because I represent Davidson County, I want to make sure that we are clear in our messaging, the difference between who we are and what we are doing. We are winning. If we look at the direction of our nation, it was in shambles. When you say, look at inflation, look at the cost of eggs, look at the cost of just going to the grocery store. Now, Trump's not even been in there a year to fix 4 years of a mess. And it's not something you can fix the first day you're there, although he's trying. He's doing a marvelous job. And the Republicans are doing a marvelous job on so many fronts, getting things done. He's ending wars. He is literally getting the strength back in our military. He's rebuilding. I mean, we were depleting our own oil resources to try and keep oil down underneath the Biden. I mean, that's all got to be restocked and refueled. So we have these emergency funds. You can't just expect things to happen in the first day that Trump got into office. I think that the progress we're making is incredible. And that's the message we have to get out. We've got to get out. We're fixing the things that were broken. We're going forward.
Well, you're getting the message out. Now, let's talk about your Davidson County constituents. I think that her constituents were in the western part of Davidson County, in well, not constituents, but the voters that voted and elected in the 7th district, Matt Van Epps, yesterday. She won overwhelmingly in Davidson County, 32,000 to 9,000 votes. But your district in the state Senate includes a different part of Davidson County, right, than was involved in the vote yesterday.
Let me tell you something that I'm included in.
Yeah.
Something called the Glock store.
And the airport.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what's interesting then is, so of the voters in your district, what percentage are in Davidson County?
About a third.
About a third.
Yes.
Okay.
So
two-thirds Wilson County. So you've got to be able to win that 1/3 in Davidson County.
Yes.
The Democrats will have a challenger to you.
Yes. Yes.
Probably somebody like Afton Bain.
Yes.
You would think, right?
Yep.
Because they're going crazy. The crazy is energized.
Sure, and so we already know the person that's working that way. You know, I'm not going to call her name out, but she's already let people know she's running for the seat, and
she's not announced yet, but
she's not formally announced. She will.
And she's going to raise money from outside the state.
Yes, absolutely.
And she's going to be like, will she be as crazy as Afton Bain?
Pretty close.
Pretty close. Yes.
So it'll be a clear difference, and those are the kind of campaigns that I like, because it's strictly on a principle. You can say, here's who we are, here's what we stand on, here's the Republican platform compared to what the Democrat platform is. And there's such clear differences.
Now, last time around in Davidson County, what was the margin there? How did the Democrat do versus you? Do you recall?
So because I didn't have anybody on the ballot, it was much better.
So we don't know. But generally speaking, right, you know, that it's a 65D, 35R. In the case of the early voting in the TN7 race in that part of Davidson County in TN7, it was like 80-20, I think. And then I think it was like 70-30 on election day in the end. So you're going to have, in the general election, they're going to work like crazy. They'll have a crazy person, and then they'll be getting out the vote. So you need all the Republicans need to back Mark Pody.
Thank you. And that's what we're here for, to get this message out of why we are different and our clear message of where we're going forward.
We'll be back with Mark Pody, state senator, representing Wilson County and parts of Davidson County. After this, I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Here we have in studio the hardest working man in the Tennessee political system, Republican state senator from Wilson County and Davidson County, Mark Pody. Do you ever sleep, Mark?
Well, I'm going to tell you, if you listen to my wife, I don't, because I'm up late and I get up early. And, 5:32, that alarm goes off and I'm up and I'm going.
Is it 5:32?
5:32.
Yeah. By the way, just as an aside about getting up time, I got up at 5:30 this morning as well. I was on the John Fredericks radio show this morning to talk about TN7, and which is, this is the network that we're on here on 760 AM WENO and 22 stations around the country. And John owns all those radio stations. And we'll get you on his show as well, talk about Tennessee politics and your activity. But I understand. Let me just say this. When I did the iHeart show from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. for 5.5 years, I got up like at 3:20 every morning. It is much better to get up at 5:30 than 3:20.
What now, I know a lot of people think that somebody can come on and do a radio show. You got a lot of prep time to do just to be ready, because you got to have the current news. You got to have things that are relevant that'll make a difference. So I know when somebody says they're on that radio, for people that are not in the business, there are hours of prep time to get involved.
There is prep time, and it's got to be relevant stuff. So, for instance, last night we put together all of these clips, and I think there's another one we might be able to play here. Clip 21, is that ready? That we sent. It's interesting. We'll get to it, but to kind of what you're going to be dealing with in the general election here.
Yes.
When you've got a lunatic Democrat. I mean, why do I even have to say that, right? Are there any Democrats who aren't lunatics these days? When you've got a lunatic Democrat who's going to, want to defund the police, who's going to want to, stop ICE and do all those crazy things, support transgender surgery for minors. That's what they're all for right now. But having said that, I mean, that's what you have to look forward to in terms of the Davidson County portion of your district, which is 1/3.
Yes. And, just to be clear, when we had the shutdown, it was a Democratic shutdown.
Yeah.
And when they were saying that they're going to hold out for things, but they're letting the kids starve while they're trying to hold out, that is not compassion. That was absolutely uncalled for what they did.
Yeah, it's funny how words can be used to create propaganda. And that's exactly what the Democrats are doing. You'll hear them saying, well, we want to feed the children. And yet, during the shutdown, it was the Democrats who weren't feeding the children.
That's exactly right. And then they were trying to throw it as if it was Republicans, or Republicans that voted 100% to get it done, to get it funded.
Now, Afton Bain, and you're going to have an Afton Bain type knockoff, shall we say, in your state Senate race.
Yes.
And, it's interesting because in the TN7 race, Davidson County was 25% of the district. In your race, it's 33%.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
We're going to have to be really focused on that. But to look at the hubris of the Democrats and their craziness, we had this clip, which you probably haven't seen yet, but Afton Bain glammed up as a country music star, wearing her Dolly Parton, I'm a rhinestone outfit. Hilarious after she said she hates Nashville. Decided, instead of graciously calling Matt Van Epps and saying, Matt, congratulations, well done, she gave him a lecture on why he needs to adopt the crazy Democrat policy. Let's just listen to her. I don't know. Have you seen this yet?
Have not seen
it.
Oh,
listen to and watch this. Here we go.
And tonight, because I believe in Southern hospitality, I called the Congressman-elect, Matt Van Epps, and I had one question for him. What will define what happens next? Do not let the Affordable Care Act subsidies expire. Do not raise health care costs for working families in Tennessee. But this...
Okay, so she's lecturing the guy who just beat her soundly by 9 points. What you see, Mark, on the left is a very aggressive attack on, in essence, everything that is America. Your thoughts?
So they created this healthcare system. They took it away from the free market. Prices have gone up. You don't get to keep the same doctor you have.
Hold it. Wasn't that promise from Barack Obama?
Yes.
If you like your doctor, you
can keep the
broken promise.
Broken promise. And now that this broken system is showing, she's calling and saying, you got to keep this broken system. that system is not going to be sustainable in
No.
the future. We have to fix healthcare, but you can't do it by putting good money down a garbage disposal. You've got to find real reform to get it done, and it's not going to be through the Obamacare. If we look at what the prices are, it's unaffordable care. It is not the affordable care that they were promising. And her coming in and saying, let's just keep trying to fix a broken system is not the right way.
But this is going to be the message from the AOC knockoff who's going to be challenging you in the general election. They're going to say affordability, affordability. Republicans are mean. Republicans don't want to feed kids. Republicans are putting healthcare costs up.
That's exactly right. But you can continue to say a lie as many times as you want. It still doesn't mean it's true.
Good point.
And that's what we've got to make as Republicans say. Here is the clear message. The free market can work. You got to get regulations off of it. And the more that you can let people decide with their own money what is best for them and their family, and not let the government make these decisions for you. It is up to each individual to make these choices. They're going to make the right choices for their family, and that's what we want to get back to.
You were at an election night event in Wilson County last night. What was the sense of that when you had a bunch of people gathered?
Sure. So actually, it was a good event, and we were actually talking about how this was going to go. And I think the vast majority were all saying that the hype of the polls were just that. And I think I'm going to tell you, you did a really good job in breaking down why that poll was a fake poll.
They undersampled Republicans by 10%.
Yes.
And they said it's a dead heat. Oh, guess what? He ends up winning by 9 points. Hello.
So, and that's why polls don't work. The real poll that works is the one that is on Election Day. But it was literally, though, a wake-up call, just coming back to say when we were looking at the early voting numbers, they were not there. Okay, they were falling.
Particularly in Davidson County.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all, I will tell you, I was a little bit surprised in Montgomery County.
Now, okay, tell me why, and I think I have an answer. What did you see in Montgomery County? Now, that's not part of your district, but it's part of the 7th.
Yes.
And Montgomery County, for those outside of Tennessee, Clarksville, the city of Clarksville, is the center of Montgomery County. And then you have suburbs and rural areas surrounding it. It's also the home of Fort Campbell. What surprised you about Montgomery County?
All right. So, now it's interesting because Fort Campbell is in Kentucky only because the post office is there. Had the post office been in Tennessee, it would have been in Tennessee Fort Campbell.
It's right on the border.
It's right on the border,
and a lot of the servicemen live
in
Clarksville area.
So I had actually anticipated the servicemen and military and such to come out in a stronger way. So, but the vote was closer there than I had anticipated because Davids County we knew was going to be kind of going that way, and I think Montgomery County was the second closest.
So, what happened there is, and we got this communication from all of the leftist groups, the Equity Alliance. They call it the Nonpartisan Tennessee Civic Action Group. These are a bunch of lefties. NGOs, the Tennessee Immigration Refugee Rights Coalition, lefties, right? And they were doing get out the vote stuff. They only did their get out the vote stuff on Election Day in 2 locations. Nashville, by the way, get ready. You're going to see it in your race in November in the general election. But then also in Clarksville proper. The city of Clarksville is actually purplish blue.
They got a Democratic mayor.
Yeah. And now Montgomery County, if you look at the early voting, we looked at this very carefully. Montgomery County, Afton Bain won the early voting by 600 votes, 9,700 to 9,100. Election day, no. Van Epps won it by about 4,000 votes.
Yes.
But it does make the point that, when you look at it, the other thing going on here is, I think, Nashville has gotten bluer. I'm just telling you, Nashville-Davidson County's gotten bluer. The final vote was 32,000 votes for Afton Bain and 9,000 for Matt Van Epps, and I think like 1,000 for the independents. So, for that's a significant move blue in Davidson County. Your thoughts on that?
It is. and there's so many things we're trying to help in Davidson County. And I'm going to give you a good example. It is the new transportation system for the boring. And they're even announcing a new potential leg, to go by Vanderbilt and such. And
really?
Yep. So that's on the table a little bit as well. And, I'm very, very much involved in the transportation. I'm vice chairman of the transportation. I'm trying to watch this so close. And as this comes in, it's non-taxpayer money. It is not our taxpayer money. And they're coming in as a private company to fix a problem. And going back to free market, there's a problem in our traffic. They're coming in to spend their money to fix it, and it's going to help everybody in Davidson County. Now, I believe that as this is going to be going through, we're going to be watching it stretch outside of Davidson County. But right now, they're working in Davidson County to get this in. I believe we'll be actually drilling, and they'll be doing this boring within the next few weeks. So you watch. And all the permits are being handled. They're working through. They had to get 42 different permits. They're working through all those systems to make sure it's safe, secure, and so forth.
Didn't you send one of your staff members out to Las Vegas to take a look at the boring company tunnel there?
I did. So
she's here in studio with us.
So they went out and they literally were able to ride it out in Vegas. They had a full-grown tour of it. They spent several hours working with everybody in the control room to watch how it works, to make sure it's going to be as safe, secure, to do accident investigation, how many accidents they've had, what is actually happening out there, and the lessons that they learned in Vegas to bring them here into Nashville.
When we come back, what's up for the Tennessee General Assembly in January?
All right.
Back with State Senator Mark Pody. After this, I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced nutrition company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com. HEALTHYCELL.com.
Cold weather is here, and it's only getting colder. When you want instant whole room warmth, you go with Eden Pure, a trusted name for years on my show. Now they've done it again with the Eden Pure Gen 40 Plus infrared heater. This powerful compact unit gives you fast, even heat you can feel in seconds. Infrared heat warms you directly, not just the air around you, and it doesn't dry out the air. It's quiet, compact, and safe with multiple built-in safety shutoffs, and it heats up to 1,000 square feet, perfect for the living room, bedroom, or office. And right now, Eden Pure is thanking our listeners. The Gen 40 Plus normally sells for $224, but Eden Pure is giving our VIP listeners an additional $50 off, bringing it to just $174. That's right, only $174 for state-of-the-art infrared heater. Now, this is a limited time offer with a strict limit of 3, and supplies are moving fast. So go to EdenPureDeals.com, use promo code Godzilla50. EdenPureDeals.com, promo code Godzilla50.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. And borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Cats and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
In studio, our very good friend, State Senator Mark Pody, who represents Wilson County and parts of Davidson County. Mark, you will be attending and participating in the next session of the Tennessee General Assembly.
Yes.
It begins in January. What can we look forward to there?
All right, so it's supposed to start January 13th at noon. Now, there was a little bit of a push that because of what happened with National Guard in Memphis, and the governor and some of the people thought, should we do a special session to make sure that they could stay in Memphis? If we look at the crime rate, they've already been making a difference in lowering
it's way
crime.
down, way down.
And so why people are saying, with crime down, with what's happening, why would they want to pull the force that's helping keep people safe?
There's only one group that wants to pull them, and that is Democrat politicians. The people that live there are delighted.
The criminals would be delighted that they leave as well. You know, I mean, I don't understand this.
Well, hold it. I think there's the same class, right? You know, the same group.
Yes. So I don't think there's going to be a special session. And when we did it last year, there was a special session right before we went in.
Very effective, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they did the voucher program at that point, or the school parental choice. I think that's going to be a big issue coming forward. Right now, there was 20,000 that were available, and over 40,000 people applied.
It was very popular.
Very, very, very popular.
There's 1 million, I think almost 1 million K-12 public school students in the state. So 20,000 is small.
It's very small. Yeah. It's just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
And we passed a law that said that we should probably, anytime it hits those numbers, we want to automatically increase it by 5,000, providing we have the funds. But I know that there's some saying, should we increase it even more at this point? So that's going to be the discussion point going forward.
You mentioned funds. Is there a lot of federal money available now?
I'm going to tell you the federal money is going to be cut. We will be having a tighter fiscal year, and we are being prepared for this. So some of this, as the federal money is cut, should the state pick up any of this money? And I'm going to tell you, I don't want to pick up bad money that the federal government has been spending, even if it would be good programs. We need to be saying no. If we want a program in Tennessee, we should pass a law in Tennessee, not just pick up a program because the federal government is no longer funding it. We could not afford to do what the federal government did. They are $30-some trillion in debt. Don't take that debt to Tennessee.
Yeah, we are fiscally responsible here in the state of Tennessee.
Absolutely. Now, there's something that's really interesting because a lot of states expanded the medical, where they were going to say they were going to take this federal money for medical and for health care, and Tennessee rejected that. Those states that took that money are going to be hit harder. We're already seeing that they're going to be hit harder. And if we would have taken that money, it would have hit our budget harder. And if we go back to like 2007, we were almost broke because of what healthcare did. And at that point, I think it was Governor Bredesen. I mean, they were literally talking how they could balance a budget. They had to take money out of the transportation, and they were borrowing money, and I don't want to say stealing money. They were taking money. They took it away from the local governments. They said, we're not going to give the local governments the money they used to, the tax revenues that they used to get, the
state took it just to bail us out of the horrible situation we were in.
Yeah, exactly. Do you expect this will be a long or short session?
I believe this is going to be a very short session. This is going to be the governor's last term. So whether you call him a lame duck or however you want to put that, he's literally in his last term, and he's not up for re-election. So typically, what had happened with Governor Haslam, okay, we found that his popularity or strength wasn't as strong in the General Assembly. And if we look at what we did earlier this year, when the budget came in, there was a lot more changes made than we would have given when the governor first came in. I think the General Assembly kind of took that budget back over, and we took things that were reoccurring and put them into one-time expense, and we did a lot of adjustments that way, knowing that we're going to have a new governor coming up, knowing that we're going to reassess things, that the federal government's cutting their budget down, and it's going to filter down to the states. So we've been trying to be very proactive on the money we got coming in. I'm going to give you a good example. We all love our veterans. They're terrific. And right now, if you're a veteran and you're retired, you can get $175,000 for your benefit on your house for property tax, and the state picks that up to reimburse the locals. That fund is $10 million short right now. So
really, I didn't know that.
That is a $10 million deficit. There's some people saying, "Hey, we love our veterans so much, we want to increase it from $175,000 to $250,000." That is going to cost us another $13 million per year. It's those kind of things that we got to be so judicious on.
So you're getting the pen out.
Yes.
The pen and pencil. And you're basically looking at what budget items are we going to have to cut.
That's exactly right. Every family has to do it when they're looking at their budget. They say, "Hey, we were planning on going on a cruise. We're planning on doing this on a vacation." And they turn around and say, "You know what? Sometimes we can't afford the cruise. We might have to go somewhere else closer." Or you got to say, "I can't afford the vacation." And we're going to do this in the state of Tennessee. We're going to say, here's what our needs are compared to our wants. And we better be looking at our Constitution saying, we're going to fund the things that's in the Constitution, like transportation. But if it is just a want or a feel-good thing, that the federal government was doing, we cannot pick up those expenses and say we want to do it because it feels good for Tennessee.
Yeah, and transportation is going to be so big. I know the airport and the Glock store area.
Yes.
Part of yours. Airport's been kind of jammed up. I think the boring tunnel is going to help that a lot. We got 30 seconds to wrap up.
And you will watch this is going to happen within 18 months. We're going to be seeing a difference in some of the transportation at that airport. 18 months. Now, when we're talking transportation, that's like a rocket science.
Exactly. Well, State Senator Mark Pody, representing Wilson County and parts of Davidson County. Senator Pody, thanks so much for joining us today. Always great to have you here.
It's an honor to be here.
All right. We'll be back with more after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy, the website, TennesseeStar.com.
Ponder this. Do you ever pray to God for something you really want or need? Do you ever feel like your prayers were never heard or answered? Maybe you are praying for your favorite team to win a championship game, only to come up short and settle for runner-up. Perhaps you prayed for a promotion that you were passed over, and there's always the lottery ticket purchase. Praying for a winning $1 million ticket? In these circumstances, you might feel like your prayers were not heard or answered. Don't be discouraged. Your prayers were heard and answered, just that the answer was no. You see, the Lord answers prayers in the same way a good father answers requests from his children. Even Jesus was turned down in the prayer to his Father, requesting to let the pain and suffering from the cross pass from him. However, the Lord added to this request, "Not my will, but thy will be done." With every prayer of petition, consider ending it in this manner: "Not my will, but thy will be done." The Lord hears and answers all prayers. It's just that sometimes he says no. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Be Fur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BeFurAndAfterGrooming.com. Be Fur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the
open the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt in the coming days. townhall.com. Talk about high egg prices. This one, a rare Fabergé egg crafted for Russia's royal family, has sold for more than $30 million.
The egg auction by Christie's in London on Tuesday was just one of 7 remaining in private hands. It's made from rock crystal with a snowflake motif of platinum and 4,500 tiny diamonds. It opens to reveal a basket of jeweled quartz flowers. The egg was commissioned by Tsar Nicholas II in 1913 as a present for his mother. It changed hands several times and was believed lost until it was auctioned in 1994. It shattered the previous record of $18.5 million paid for another Fabergé egg in 2007. Keith Peters, Washington.
Discount retailer Costco is going to court. Costco is demanding refunds for higher tariffs it has paid. Townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are delighted to welcome to our newsmaker line right now our very good friend Bob Frantz with Cleveland, Ohio, a veteran conservative radio broadcaster. Welcome, Bob. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Mike, thank you for the invitation, and let me say this. Thank you, District 7 voters in Tennessee, for saving us from that lunatic. Oh, my goodness gracious. Afton Bain, thank you that we never got a chance to know you. Wow.
You know, people were surprised that there are left-wing Democrat lunatics in Tennessee. Tennessee has 95 counties. 93 of them are solidly red Republican. 2 of them are lunatic blue. Shelby County, Memphis, and Davidson County here in Nashville. And this district, 25% was Davidson County. The Democrats are getting loonier and loonier. Afton Bain is clearly an example of that. But you have lunatics up there in Ohio as well, don't you?
Well, this is a newly converted red state. Obviously back in early 2000s and even in the early part of the next decade, it was a purple state. Ohio was a battleground state. It was always going to be up for grabs. Mm-hmm. It is so solidly red now. Donald Trump won here all 3 times by 8, 8, and 12 points. 20 of the last 21 statewide elections have been won by Republicans. Yet the biggest cities, and this is a typical situation, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Toledo, are all very, very deeply maniacally blue. So it just kind of shows, they concentrate themselves into these small areas and then complain and say we're gerrymandering when we want the will of, again, a state that is, the legislature is super majority in both chambers, in the House and in the Senate. And like I said, the statewide elections are all solidly red. But yeah, the blue regions are obviously the danger zones. And, I'm just so happy that Nashville, being one of those in Tennessee, that the blue maniacs did not overpower the will of the true conservatives in Tennessee.
What's your outlook on the midterm election? People thought the Democrats say, they could flip this special election and that will be a harbinger of things to come. They're trying to say a 9-point victory was a victory of the Republicans, was a victory for them. I don't see it at all. But what do the midterms look like for you, and particularly in Ohio? What are you seeing?
Well, I do see their point to the extent, talking about that particular 9-point victory, because it was a 20-plus Trump district, which, is really huge, as I read it last night anyway, and you can correct me since you're right there if that's not accurate. So if it went from being a 20-point, Trump district to just a 9-point win, they can say, hey, we've made some headway here. I would say that I'm a little concerned that the voters there, and maybe largely in some other places, the conservative voters, the MAGA voters, the Republican voters, were not as inspired to come out in big numbers, maybe as they would be. These are off-year elections, and in this case, a special election, and they just weren't inspired to do it.
So just on that note, Bob, let me just say that the early voting, the Democrats overperformed slightly in the early voting. But on Election Day, early voting was 84,000 votes cast. Election Day, typically Election Day may be slightly less than early voting. It was 12,000 more, 96,000 Election Day votes, and it went very heavily for Matt Van Epp. So by election day, they were out and going. What do you see going on in Ohio right now?
Well, I see a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. We just had some new districts drawn, and to be truthful with you, Mike, there are some leaders in Ohio's Republican-led legislature that I don't think are always fighting to win.
You're a very kind man. You're a kind man, Bob France.
This state should be 13-2 in Republican-leaning districts. There's just no, as far as our representation, and it's not. It's going to be more probably like 11-4, and it shouldn't be. Like I said, 20 of the last 21 statewide elections, which rely not on districts, these are statewide, have gone Republican. So we deserve to have more of that representation. But they ceded some things, and I don't know why. I don't know what backroom machinations might be happening. But some of our leaders did not press as hard as they could. We could have flipped Ohio 13, which is currently held by Amelia Sykes, who's one of the least qualified and most inconsequential members of the Democrat caucus and conference in the state. It was easily flippable, and if they'd have drawn the districts correctly, but in a nod to, hey, give us something, we'll give you something, they made it, Democrat +3. So it should not be that way. I think we're still going to be fine. We're going to have real strong turnout. This is a very, very, like I said, pro-Trump state now, and they know that the agenda is at risk for the last 2 years if we don't get it done. So I think Ohio will come through, but it could be stronger than even it is.
Now, let's talk about the gubernatorial election. It looks like on the Republican side, it'll be Vivek Ramaswamy, our friend. On the Democrat side, I've heard the name of Amy Acton, Dr. Amy Acton to you, who was sort of the, Ohio's Fauci under Governor Mike DeWine. Is there anybody else on the Democrat side? And if it's a matchup between Vivek Ramaswamy and Dr. Amy Acton, what's it going to look like?
Well, to answer the first part first, no, there's no one else on the Democrat side. There was rumbling that Sherrod Brown, after he lost to Bernie Moreno in the Senate race, might run for governor. But as you know, he has decided to challenge John Husted and try to get back into the Senate. And then the other option was former Congressman Tim Ryan, who's got some pull up in the Mahoning Valley area. But he just announced 2 weeks ago that he is not going to seek it. So it is Amy Acton. She is a non-politician. She has never run for office before. She was Ohio's health director, and you're correct to call her, Ohio's Fauci. Mike DeWine, who is I'm sorry, but he's a horrible governor. He is not a conservative. He did not fight for the people. He mismanaged COVID in 2020 and 2021 as badly as any Democrat governor did in their states. And he gave most of the power to Amy Acton. He let her make all the decisions on school closings, on mandates, on businesses, what's essential and what isn't. And she generated so much goodwill among leftists who believe government should control everything that she's popular with them. But obviously, she generated a whole lot of disdain and disgust from a very red state when she did those things. So Vivek Ramaswamy is going to have to just lean heavily on, do you remember what she was allowed to do to you? And Mike, as you well know, when businesses closed back then, so many of them never opened again. It wasn't like a temporary thing. Some of them clawed and scratched and got back open and survived, but so many of them were gone forever, and so were their jobs. And Vivek needs to point that out. That's her sole experience in quote-unquote government, being handed that appointment by Mike DeWine as health director and given that authority, and that's what she did with it.
What's the polling like there in Vivek versus Amy Acton?
It depends on the poll, obviously. That goes without saying. I will say I am a bit surprised in some of the early-going outlier polls. There's nothing to suggest that it's consistent across the board at all, that it's close, that she's within 2 or 3 points in some of those polls. Others, you see Vivek, 9 and 10. Vivek is such a powerful force here because he got Trump's endorsement immediately after announcing. That's why, he walked away from the Doge job. He was going to be the co-leader of Doge with Elon until he said, no, I want to be governor. So he immediately left that and got the endorsement. And like I said, Ohio is so pro-solidly Trump based on that. All Vivek really needs to do, I think, is lean into that, remind everybody that he's MAGA, and remind everybody what Amy Acton did. And I think these early polls will be utterly meaningless by the time we get to next
Yeah,
year.
and there was a push poll that called this a virtual tie that Emerson put out that was wrong.
Correct.
Here in,
Push
in
poll
TN.
being the key word there. Yes, sir.
Okay, so Husted versus Sherrod Brown in the Senate race. How's that look? We got 1 minute left here.
You know, it's going to be difficult, truthfully. John Husted was the lieutenant governor, and he wears a lot of what DeWine did during COVID as well. There are a lot of Republicans here who blame him as much as DeWine, saying, you know, they were in lockstep. He was the LG. So he's got a lot of work to do.
So that's going to be harder.
I think he has engendered a lot of really goodwill in his short time in the Senate, though. And I think, again, ultimately, when Trump comes out to endorsement and so on and so forth, I think he'll be fine. Sherrod Brown's time is up. And Ohio told him that just a few months ago.
The great Bob France, veteran radio broadcaster and radio host from Cleveland, Ohio. Bob, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
I miss you, brother. It's good to talk to you. Thank you.
Take care. Hey, up next, Phil Klein talking about war crimes. That's the call from the Democrats. Back after this.
Ponder this. Most of us in America have more than we need to sustain ourselves, like a roof over our heads, food to eat, and clothes to wear, and much more. The one thing we seem to be lacking every day is more time. There is never enough time in our day, or in a night for that matter. That being said, we try to create more time each day by rushing around to perhaps buy a little more time. We rush from one event to another. We double or even triple task to save time. We drive fast cars to get to our fast food restaurants. Our days are full with little time left for family, friends, and God. To better manage your pace, take a minute each morning to get on your knees and let the Lord know that you are giving Him all your time today. Sincerely ask Him to give you clear direction on what He wants you to accomplish each day. The Lord will make sure you have plenty of time for His will to be done without rushing around. Listen to the Lord to manage your time each day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am Passionately Catholic.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Cats and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals. Your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, Our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by our very good friend, Professor of Law at Liberty University, outstanding legal expert, former Attorney General for the state of Kansas, Phil Klein. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Michael.
Can you unravel something for me? It turns out now one of the Democrat talking points is war crimes, war crimes, war crimes. Everything that Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has done, they claim, is a war crime. Now, this to me looks like a political talking point. Have you looked at this, and what level of merit should our listeners attach to these allegations of war crimes made by Democrats against Secretary of War Pete Hegseth?
Well, much of it, Michael, depends on the specific facts surrounding the September 2nd strike on a narcotics trafficking boat in the Mediterranean, and specifically whether with intent military officials were ordered or those guiding the drones were ordered to go back. Now, here's how it might be pertinent relating to all of this. Can you still hear me, Michael? Did you lose me?
We've got your audio, so keep going.
I'm sorry.
Good. No, you're
good.
Here's
where it's pertinent. The United States is a signer of the Geneva Convention in 1949, and we codified our compliance with that treaty through the passage of the War Crimes Act in Article 18 of the United States Code. Moreover, it is also codified in the United States Code for Military Justice under Section 118. Now, what that basically is the Geneva Convention. And the issue within the Geneva Convention here is whether there was an intentional strike against those who were injured in combat and were unable to defend themselves. So did the Secretary or did Admiral Bradley specifically direct a second strike 12 to 15 minutes later to kill those combatants under the Trump administration claim, their combatants that were in the water? And if that specific order was made, there's an argument that it's a violation of the War Crimes Act under United States Code. There's no concern about an international court exercising jurisdiction here because the United States did not sign any treaty authorizing an international court to have jurisdiction. We rejected the Rome Treaty in 2002. And in fact, Congress has passed an act prohibiting United States military personnel from being under the jurisdiction of an international court. So that's where it stands. It comes down to a specific. Now, here's what's interesting about this. Well, a lot of it is interesting, but the only party who could prosecute this, most likely, is the Department of Justice, which is very unlikely to do so. So what is more likely to come out of this, there is a potential for a military court, but what's most likely to come out of this is congressional hearings and investigation. And if there was a direct intentional order to go back and kill those who were clinging to something in the water in the Mediterranean, I believe you might see some resignations.
So the interesting thing about this is if you look at it, I mean, the order is the president has the authority to order the strikes to destroy these boats that are bringing illegal drugs into the country, right? Do I have that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, now Trump is there's a dispute about that. Trump is arguing that they are the narco terrorists are actually, he's designated them as a terrorist organization.
Mm-hmm.
He is acting under the laws that we had with 911. But there is an argument, Michael, because the articles surrounding terrorism in the United States have generally been applied to people that we believe are taking direct violent action against U.S. citizens in some fashion, planning, coordinating, funding, and so forth. This is indirect action. It's a provision of drugs. So there's a dispute here as well.
Right. But so what the argument would be, okay, it is legal for him to go ahead and order the destruction of a boat carrying drugs, even though it's indirect, right? But if that strike leaves a couple of survivors, the argument would be, well, you can't go back and try and kill those survivors clinging to the hull of the boat. I think the military argument is, look, our mission was to destroy the boat. The boat wasn't fully destroyed, so we went ahead and destroyed the boat. That is the argument, in essence. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
And we're going to focus in on that intent. And there is a gray area in understanding intent. That's true if you're trying to investigate and prosecute any law that there is. But if there was a direct intent to kill the survivors, I believe that there's an argument to be made it's a violation of the United States War Crimes Act, or Article 18 of the United States Code,
But
and Article
isn't this
1.
ultimately just a political means to attack everything about the Trump administration? I mean, if you look at other military actions by the United States of America, there are probably any number of instances where somebody could make some allegation that there's a violation of the War Crimes Act, and yet the Democrats haven't brought that up. They're bringing this up, I think, for political purposes. Your thoughts on that, Phil Klein?
Well, I think that's correct, but it's also correct that these are serious issues. You know, the United States intends and purports to comply with the Geneva Convention. The Geneva Convention, factually, it can be a gray area, but it's pretty darn clear here. If you're exercising authority in a military context and in a conflict, that you are not to exercise lethal force against those who are incapable of defending themselves. So it comes down to intent. Now, I must say this, in agreement with you, certainly the Democratic Party has, well, done everything it can to prevent the Trump administration from exercising its lawful authority. And if they see a political win here, they will grab it and they will magnify it. It's also, it's interesting, Michael, whether there's conflicting reports here. The Washington Post came out with an article that represented that Hexas specifically targeted these individuals who had survived. The New York Times conflicted with that report. The Post has it retracted. But the timing of all this is suspiciously indicative that maybe there was some inside knowledge for that commercial that the Democratic Party cut. To the military.
So the other thing is, or purported inside information. The other thing on this is, what are the odds that if a Democrat wins the presidency and they name a Democrat attorney general, what are the odds that they're going to start prosecuting basically any member of the War Department, Pete Hegseth, admirals, etc.?
Well, I would say that once you go down the path of the weaponization of law against citizens and against political opponents, it becomes extraordinarily difficult for you to alter and return to the proper path.
But don't you think that's what they're going to do, Phil? I mean, if they
I think that's what they're going to do, because they are, and that's what they did under Biden. But there is an argument to be made that it's being done now too. So once you escalate all of this, it's a dangerous thing for a free society to see the law as a weapon to go after political opponents, especially a society that has more laws than any nation in human history, where if you give me the person, I'll find the felony. That's the nature of our laws today. And if we go down this path, it's a destruction of the rule of law.
Completely agree. I think, though, that's what the Democrats intend to do. And I think that may be, as you suggested, perhaps one part of the rationale behind the seditious six statements that you can't, don't follow an unlawful order. I think what they're trying to do is undermine the executive authority of the President of the United States to enforce the laws of the country. Your thoughts on that, Phil Klein? We've got a minute left in this segment.
Well, I think there's truth in that, but there's also truth that knowing and understanding and making sure that the executive authority falls within its authority and doesn't extend too far is vitally important. Biden abused his power. Trump will not be the president here before too long. We don't know the outcome of that election. So there is a serious issue in the balance of power in the United States that needs to be addressed and needs to be discussed. We've just got to stop doing it by calling each other criminals and sending law enforcement after each other. We've got to do it through the courts. We've got to do it through reasoned debate. We've got to do it through logic. And if we don't do that, then we're destroying the foundation for our liberty, and that's the rule of law in this nation.
Phil Klein, thanks so much for joining us today. Excellent insight on the war crimes issue. We'll see you next week. Back with Tom Pappert and TN7 analysis after this.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
Cold weather is here, and it's only getting colder. When you want instant whole room warmth, you go with Eden Pure, a trusted name for years on my show. Now they've done it again with the Eden Pure Gen 40 Plus infrared heater. This powerful compact unit gives you fast, even heat you can feel in seconds. Infrared heat warms you directly, not just the air around you, and it doesn't dry out the air. It's quiet, compact, and safe with multiple built-in safety shutoffs, and it heats up to 1,000 square feet. Perfect for the living room, bedroom, or office. And right now, Eden Pure is thanking our listeners. The Gen 40 Plus normally sells for $224, but Eden Pure is giving our VIP listeners an additional $50 off, bringing it to just $174. That's right, only $174 for state-of-the-art infrared heater. Now, this is a limited time offer with a strict limit of 3, and supplies are moving fast. So go to EdenPureDeals.com, use promo code Godzilla50. EdenPureDeals.com, promo code Godzilla50.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall and Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We welcome to our Zoom Newsmaker line right now our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael. And it is a good morning, isn't it?
It is. And by the way, not only did you win the Dow Prize for Best Local Journalism in the country, along with yours truly and Christina Botteri, you actually win the prediction of the outcome of the TN7 election prize. Because, Tom, on the day before, he ended up winning 54-45 by 9 points. And the day before, we had a whole group of folks where we did predictions. And we had one who predicted 3 points, and I ended up predicting 10 points. We had Lonnie Spivak predicting 15 points. Tom Pappert predicted 9 points. 9 points it was. Congratulations, Tom, on being able to read the tea leaves accurately.
Well, thank you. And, you had even set me up in such a way that I was relieved from having to make a prediction, but I was pretty confident that the Democrats were not going to have a total embarrassing defeat, but that it would be pretty close to double digits, and that's exactly what we saw. I think the Republicans come away from last night as the universal victor. The Democrats are going to have to come up with a new line to sell the voters for the midterms because of what happened last night.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Now, let's delve into the numbers and to see what it says about Tennessee and the 7th Congressional District. 14 counties, Montgomery County, which is Fort Campbell up north, 25% of the vote typically. Davidson County, that's Nashville, 25% of the vote. Williamson County, that's the affluent suburb south of Nashville, about 25%. And then 11 counties where the vote is basically the remaining 25%, the rural counties, that stretch all the way from the border with Kentucky down to the border with Alabama. Now, let's talk about early voting. We had information about early voting, which was 84,000 turned out. You and I looked at that. We looked at the various counties, the breakdown by the counties. We didn't have a breakdown by who got those votes in the early voting results, just the absolute number. I looked at that, Tom, and I said, I think this is going to be a wash, and I think it'll be about even Steven between Afton Bain and Matt Van Epps. As it turned out, Afton Bain won the early vote by about 2,500 votes. Was there anything that you found surprising when the votes started to come in, and we saw that basically we had a slight lead, but not that much in early voting? Anything surprise you in that?
I would say there were two things. The first was Williamson County. She performed a little bit better than a lot of folks expected, and we'd been warning on this very radio show that she seems to do well, Afton Bain, with the wealthy Democrats in Williamson County. It was the only county she carried in her primary, so that was interesting to see that confirmed in the early voting totals. The other thing, and this is really, I think, the only red flag for Republicans that emerged last night, and that was the Republican Party really collapse in Davidson County. In the early voting, I think Van Epps had just over 3,000 votes. The other 17,000 went to Afton Bain. That is not something that the party should be willing to accept. There are surely more than 3,000 early voters in that slice of Davidson County that's included in the district, but they didn't turn out to vote, and not many more of them voted on Election Day. It wound up being, 9,000 votes for Van Epps, and then 33,000 votes total. The rest went to Afton Ben. Or no, I'm sorry, she got the 33,000, 40,000 votes total. Now, that is, I think, a serious issue. If the Republicans know that their voters are leaving the cities and going to the suburbs, well, it's time to find new voters in the cities that are going to turn out for Republicans. But otherwise, I'd say our analysis on the Tennessee Insider Brief and TennesseeStar.com and this very show was pretty much accurate when it came to early voting.
Yeah, and then you look at game day, election day. I had initially thought that it would be down from early voting. And then as the results came in during the day, it became very clear that regular election day voting would be robust and probably more than early voting. It turned out it was much more, 96,000 votes cast on election day. And of those votes cast on election day, remember, she won early voting by about 5%, roughly speaking. But he won on election day by about 18%. He had like an 18,000 plus vote margin on election day. Huge turnout. Now, what does that tell you? Here's what it tells me, Tom, and I'd like to get your analysis. So we had early voting numbers come in. It looked a bit like a wash. We knew we'd have to win election day. Then we get this push poll from Emerson, by the way, which claims it's a virtual tie. Now, you and I looked at that. You looked at that, and it undersampled Republicans by about 10 points. I think, Tom, you were the only one who reported that undersampling, right?
I think so. And it was a little bit like Charlie Brown in the football for the Democrats. They put out this poll. I think some Democrats actually started to believe it. And what wound up happening was much more in line with reality. I hope they enjoyed that little taste of the turf that they were given by these pollsters. I don't know what they were thinking. Simply that Trump's voters were done because he can't run for re-election. That turned out to be a serious miscalculation on behalf of Emerson.
Now, yeah, and I think it was intentional, right? Because you called them up and said, we think you're undersampling Trump voters. And they said, yes, we are.
That's exactly right. They said, again, that in their analysis, Trump voters were essentially not going to vote in this election. What wound up happening instead is I think they were energized come election day after the past few weeks, both with Afton Ben and then everything that's been happening nationally in this country. I think Trump voters were almost as energized as they were last year on election day.
Yeah, and I think, let's be honest about where the credit for that goes. And let's say who did a good job and who did a bad job. The Tennessee Republican Party did a bad job on early voting. They didn't get the people out. They just didn't. And the Davidson County Republican Party on early voting was non-existent. And Lonnie Spivak, our friend, was formerly the head of the Republican Party. They've got a new head in Davidson County, but they're not building any infrastructure there, Tom. I think what happened is when the early voting results came in and that phony poll from Emerson came in, national conservative media outlets, our outlet as well, the Trump administration, Donald Trump himself, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, you had Tim Burchett also from the House coming in, working hard on it, and in particular, Election Day Get Out the Vote was not driven by the Tennessee Republican Party or the Davidson County Republican Party. It was driven by the National Republican Congressional Committee. And they sent in folks here, and they did a very good job. And so I think the bottom line is it was national attention from the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Donald Trump, the National Republican Congressional Committee that did the job here. And the ones who didn't do the job were the Tennessee Republican Party. I'm sorry to say it because I'm friends with Scott Golden, who runs it. I don't think they did their job. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pepper?
I actually agree completely. I would also add, though, that the other county Republican parties, Williamson County Republican Party even, but all of those rural counties that you mentioned a moment ago, they punched above their belt. Throughout the campaign, when I was reporting, you would see local county Republican parties, not Davidson, but others really trying to do phone banking, to do door knocking, to hold events, grassroots events on their own without the candidate's direct involvement. But when it came to the state party, I think you only saw them get involved in the last couple days when Scott Golden appeared in an event. And he's a good guy. I have nothing against him, but they were fairly silent. And the Davidson Republican Party, I think that they should look at the 3,000 votes they received during the early voting period as an abysmal failure. It's an F. They need to do better.
Yeah, they were stomped. And, they're not. I mean, here's the problem with, I think, the Davidson County Republican Party group and the Tennessee Republican Party Executive Committee. It's basically a social club, right? And there's really not a lot of get out the vote activity, not a lot of infrastructure building, and that's got to change. One of the things that has to change is at the very top, they've got old and unengaged. I'm going to be kind. National committee members. Oscar Brock, who's publicly said he's a national committee man from the Tennessee Republican Party, he's publicly said, I'm not going to support any Republican congressman in the midterms. Well, how can you do that and be the national committeeman? And then Beth Campbell, who's had a long run, there's no energy there. There's no development of an infrastructure on it. We're going to have Scott Golden in, and we're going to kind of put his feet to the fire and say, what are you doing, man? Because the job of local organizing is not being done by the Tennessee Republican Party. What are your thoughts about Oscar Brock?
Well, I think the fact that in October, just a month and a half before the election, after Van Epps was the nominee, he was going around saying, I'm not supporting incumbents anymore because the House GOP should be surrendering to the Democrats on the government shutdown. I don't understand how the guy still has his position when it's just a couple weeks out from a major election that the Democrats were telling everybody they could win, and he was essentially arguing against his own party. But this is bigger than Tennessee, because I think that what you're seeing in the volunteer state is being repeated all over the country, where these county and state level parties are treated as social clubs. And I'm afraid that that is how you lose the cities, and you wind up having the disappointing results in New Jersey from earlier this year instead of the resounding victory we saw last night.
Yeah, and basically, it's time for the tired old members of the state's Tennessee Republican Party Executive Committee. They need to leave. And you need to bring in some energy and some younger folks that will build a get-out-the-vote infrastructure. Tom, stick around if you would, please, because I want to do a little predicting of what's going to happen in Tennessee in 2026. You saw the country music glam attire of Afton Bain in her ungracious phone call to Matt Van Epps, where she tried to lecture. What's up for her? What's her future? What does she see her future as? And what's the Democrat-Republican Party future going to be here in Tennessee? Back with Tom Pappard after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
If you've tried everything for cheek redness or breakouts and nothing works, it's not your fault. The real cause might be deeper than you think. Introducing Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream from the Wellness Company, a prescription-strength, dermatologist-developed formula that helps reduce inflammation, balance bacteria, and restore your skin's natural glow. This triple-action cream combines 3 medical-grade ingredients for powerful results. Azelaic acid to unclog pores and fade dark spots, metronidazole to control bacterial imbalance and redness, and ivermectin to calm irritation and eliminate skin parasites that contribute to rosacea and acne. Together, these ingredients work to reduce bumps, swelling, and redness while supporting smoother, healthier, and more radiant skin over time. Formulated and compounded in the United States, this FDA-approved cream is trusted by doctors for visible and lasting results. Experience clear, confident skin with the Wellness Company's Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream. U.S. residents only. Head to twc.health/Godzilla and use code Godzilla to save $20 off, plus free shipping.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. On our Zoom Newsmaker line right now, our lead political reporter and Dow Prize winner, Tom Pappert. Tom, interesting on the election. What happens next? So I've heard all the pundits say, oh, Trump won this by 21 points in the general, and Mark Green won by 20 points. It's a 9-point margin of victory. Oh, it shouldn't have been that close. And I'm looking at him saying, okay, let's go back to 24 when Mark Green ran against a non-entity who had no money, right? This time they've got Afton Bain, crazy leftist lunatic, who they repackaged as an affordability country music glam star queen, right? and they put, this is my estimate, and it's probably not the final numbers, but I think the Democrats and their associated pals put in like $6 million into this race. And I think, from what I can tell, Matt Van Epps had about $4 million. So they outspent him by $2 million. Now, that's not the final numbers on it. That's what I see right now. And so given all that, I am not surprised at all that the margin of victory was 9 points. Having said that, talk a little bit about the two Afton Bains that we saw. The Afton Bain who was looking very grungy and in her car talking about bullying ICE agents, versus the country glam queen wearing a rhinestone cowboy outfit last night and talking about affordability.
Well, that's exactly it, what you described. This is a woman who was so radical far left. There's video of her being dragged out of Governor Bill Lee's office, screaming some sort of banshee shriek at the top of her lungs. She is a far left Democrat activist. She's anti-police. She supports defunding them. She actually supports rioting because she's so anti-police. That was a tweet that came out in the couple days before the election. She said the air in Tennessee is racist. She hates country music. She hates Nashville. She hates everything about the city. But as you said last night, she transformed into the rhinestone cowgirl. She looked like an extra from a Glenn Campbell music video. And she gets up there and I mean, literally, she was kind of moving around and you could see the rhinestone sparkle. It was the most bizarre thing you've ever seen in your life from a woman who said she hates country music. But by the way, she also said she was conceived at a country music concert as proof that she was just being a little exaggerating when she delivered those earlier remarks. It was utterly absurd. But frankly, I'm glad that this backfired so strongly on them. A 9-point victory after all this money spent, all this national attention is great news. This means that the Democrats cannot take a far-left lunatic like Afton Ben and transform her, put makeup on her to look like a country music. She kind of had the Dolly Parton look going last night.
She did, yeah.
But it doesn't work. You cannot gaslight the voters with visits from Kamala Harris and a really good advertising campaign. It turns out Republicans, and particularly Tennesseans, are just too smart for that.
Yeah, I think, Aaron Sorkin is the leftist entertainment writer, producer who did The West Wing and a couple of, he did the play that became A Few Good Men, I think. But that guy's clearly leftist. It's as if he came in and he consulted with the campaign and said, this is how we need to picture her and frame her. It was a Hollywood production. And that she's, that's what she's going for. In terms of what she does for her future, actually, I think she's energized. She's got the crazy nuts around the country liking what she's doing. She's going to raise money. I predict, let me get your reaction to this. I predict that this is what's going to happen. I predict she will run again for state rep and simultaneously run for either the 7th district again or run for the United States Senate against Bill Hagerty. Your thoughts?
That's a really good analysis. I could see a Senate bid in her future. She'd be retracing the footsteps of Gloria Johnson, who did the same exact thing in 2024, ran for her seat in the Tennessee House while simultaneously challenging Marsha Blackburn and lost. However, I think Afton Bain, this is just my personal hunch, I don't think her aspirations are truly in politics. I think she's well aware that there is a very low ceiling in Tennessee for Democrats, especially Democrats like her. But now, as you mentioned, she has this major national following. She was on MS Now like every other night for the past 2 weeks. I think in Afton Bain's future, it's going to be media. I think that's her eventual plan. Okay. Perhaps after once again elevating herself with a Senate run, we'll see her start a podcast.
Oh, she'll be trying out for The View. I could see her on The View. Right?
Yes, I could see a nice moderate voice from Tennessee to join The View.
No, she'll put on her rhinestone cowgirl outfit. She'll be all glammed up, and she'll be sitting right next to Whoopi, and in between Whoopi and Joy, and they'll all be saying how terrible America is. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think that's exactly right. And I think that, frankly, she would probably be pretty successful in the entertainment field, more successful than in politics.
And on that note, Tom Pappert, thanks so much for joining us today. Always appreciate your great reporting. And, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned everybody, Tom is the winner of the Dow Prize for Best Local Journalism in the country, the new version of the Pulitzer Prize, along with Christina Botteri and yours truly. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Michael. It's always a pleasure.
Usually at this time, we hear the helicopter coming in, and Sean Farash will be joining us. He cannot be in studio today. Busy things going on for President Trump at the White House. So we'll hear from 47 and Sean Farash after the break, and then we'll hear more from Sean. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy, back after this.
Let's face it, losing weight isn't just about looks. It's about health. Tired of confusing diets and injections with harsh side effects? Meet Drop, an oral GLP-1 peptide from the Wellness Company that boosts metabolism, curbs cravings, and helps you burn fat. No needles needed. Just mix it with water and let your body do the rest. Right now, get $100 off and free shipping at twc.health/Godzilla and use the promo code Godzilla100 to save $100. Drop the weight. Take back your life.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis. Listen 24/7 with the News Talk 760 app, available in the Apple Store and Google Play.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Fraud case in Minnesota is gaining more attention, many demanding that Governor Tim Walz be held accountable.
We've been trying to raise the alarm on this for over 3 years. The fraud that has gone on under his administration is unprecedented.
This is House Majority Whip Tom Emmer raising the alarm. Meanwhile, the Trump administration now pausing all immigration applications, such as requests for green cards, for people from 19 countries banned from travel earlier this year.
The pause puts on hold a wide range of immigration-related decisions, such as green card applications or naturalizations for immigrants from those 19 countries. The Trump administration describes those countries as high risk. The pause affects immigrants already in the U.S., regardless of arrival date. Critics argue the actions amount to collective punishment for immigrants. Mike Hempen, Washington.
A Trump-backed Republican won last night's special election in Tennessee for a U.S. House seat.
Republican Matt Van Epps defeated Democrat Afton Bain to represent the 7th Congressional District. The victory gives a little breathing room for Republicans in the House, where they still have a razor-thin majority. However, the race in the conservative red Tennessee district may have been too close for comfort for the GOP. President Trump carried that district by 22 percentage points last year, but Van Epps won by only single digits. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Stocks are knocking on the door of another record high close on Wall Street. The previous all-time high close for the Dow, 47,706. Right now, it's up to about 47,700. And it's up 226 on the day so far. The NASDAQ was doing well. Now it is reverse course bid is down by 13 points, and the S&P 500 still struggling, but on the way up. It is up by 8 points at 6,837. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-226-5454. That's 800-226-5454. 800-226-5454.
Here's Rich Thomason with a midday Wall Street business report.
Wall Street opened higher this morning, following up on yesterday's gains for the Dow, Nasdaq, and the S&P. Payroll processor ADP reports the U.S. lost jobs for the third time in 4 months. More data for Federal Reserve policymakers as they consider whether to cut interest rates again. The Federal Open Market Committee will be meeting next week. The Cyber Monday numbers are in.
U.S. shoppers spent $14.25 billion on Cyber Monday, pushing total online sales over the Thanksgiving weekend to $44.2 billion. That's according to an Adobe Analytics report, as consumers found offers on everything from gadgets to household essentials. Spending rose 7.7% during the so-called Cyber Week, the 5 days from Thanksgiving to Cyber Monday.
Correspondent Bill Alexander. I'm Rich Thomason.
And you'll find breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. The Trump administration says it will withhold SNAP from Democrat-led states if they don't provide more data.
Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says the action is in the works because those states are refusing to provide requested information about the recipients, including their names and immigration status, and that states should comply to help root out fraud in the program. Experts say that while there certainly is fraud in a $100 billion a year program, that the bigger problem is perpetrated by organized crime. About 42 million lower-income Americans rely on SNAP to help buy groceries. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Airbus expects to deliver fewer planes this year due to an issue with fuselage panels on some A320 planes. The aerospace company says it's targeting about 790 commercial aircraft deliveries in 2025 total. You'll find more of these stories at townhall.com. From Washington.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Usually at this time, you hear the helicopter out front. And President Donald Trump and Sean Farash, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, are here in studio today. Been a very busy day for President Trump, and he's joining us on the Zoom Newsmaker line right now. Mr. President, good morning.
Well, it's a good morning to you. Happy Trump Day. We call it Trump Day, right? It's a tremendous day. It's a wonderful time. And you know what we say, 'tis the season, right? 'Tis the season to deport him. We love ICE, and we support him, right? So we're very happy about it. Christmas carols are coming along very well, and you know, we're very happy to be here. Even if it's through Zoom, there's a lot of logistics. We have to work out logistics today, but we're going to do very well regardless.
Mr. President, yesterday, the voters of Middle Tennessee resoundingly said, as the winner of the election, special election, Matt Van Epp said in the 7th Congressional District, that's very clear. If you back Donald Trump, you win. If you oppose Donald Trump, you lose. Your thoughts on that, Mr. President?
Well, you look at Afton Bain. She's a whack job, a complete total whack job. She says she hates the city of Nashville, and a lot of people didn't want to vote for that. But Matt Van Epps did a tremendous job. He ran a great campaign, and he won. If you're not on board with the Trump train, you're going to get run over by it, right? We're going to steamroll the hell out of these people. And that's exactly what we did. We steamrolled the hell out of them. Whack job, Afton Bain. Very wacky person, very stupid. Believe it or not, a very stupid person. They call her the AOC of Tennessee, and she may be worse than AOC when you look at it. You know, maybe a little wine drunk. Who knows? She might have spent a little bit of time on the pedal taverns that she doesn't like so much, but she sounds like she's been drinking a lot. So we're very happy to see Matt win. It was closer than we want, but it was still a big win. It was almost 9 points, which, you know, is a nice win for him, and we're happy to have him in Congress.
Now, did you notice this, Mr. President? So Afton Bain has you know, dozens of videos out in which she says really lunatic things like, oh, she hates Nashville. She hates country music. And Tennessee is a racist state, she claimed. And she also thinks that men can have babies. And she wants to do transgender surgeries for young kids. But I saw her last night, and in her ungracious concession speech, she went in. Basically, did you see what they had her They must have had, the Hollywood guys come in, and they had her glammed up. She was wearing a rhinestone cowgirl outfit. Did you see that? It seemed kind of bizarre to me. Your thoughts, Mr. President?
Well, I think she thought she was going to win, and so she put on her best costume, right? Her best, country costume. And she didn't win. She lost by a lot. Think about it. She lost by a lot. Thousands and thousands of votes. She lost by a lot. And they said it was going to be close. It wasn't close. But she's a ridiculous person. And frankly, a very stupid person. I have to say that, too. And when they say affordability, they talk about affordability, but that really means socialism. When a Democrat says affordability, it means tax hike.
Mm-hmm.
It means you're going to pay more in taxes. That's what it means. And they don't want to say that because they can't say that. But she's a nasty person, very nasty. She's a socialist. She's a lunatic. And now we can call her a loser. She's a complete and total loser. And there's a lot of losers out there, a lot. But she's a big loser. And we're very happy to report that. She's a big loser. Congratulations to Matt Van Epps, MAGA Matt, a tremendous guy.
MAGA Matt beat the left-wing lunatic loser, Afton Bain. Okay, so I want to go to that famous journalistic publication, the Babylon Bee. They have a report here, Mr. President, and I'd like to see if you can comment on the truthfulness of this report. Headline: Minnesota added to Trump's third world travel ban. Is that true, Mr. President?
Well, we're absolutely looking at doing that. We call it Little Somalia. We call it Little Somalia. And anybody who comes from Minnesota, where you have a seriously stupid governor like Tim Walz, and I used another word to describe him earlier in the week. A lot of people said to me, "Sir, you can't say that." So we're not going to say that. But
you mean
he's a very stupid guy.
Yeah. He's
a very stupid guy. But we will say this. I also made a beautiful deal. I don't know if you know about it. Today is the 3rd day of December. Hurricane season is officially over. And have you noticed there was not a single hurricane in the Gulf of America this year? Did you notice that?
Well, it's because it's the Gulf of America, right?
I got along very well with Mother Nature. I knew her for a long time. She's a wonderful person. And we made a big, beautiful deal. She said to me, "Sir, I'm sending hurricanes." I said, "You better not do that." And she didn't do it. I told her, "If you send a hurricane, we're going to tariff the hell out of you. Mother Nature, don't make this mistake. We're going to tariff those storms." And she decided she wasn't going to do that. So we had no hurricanes in the Gulf of America. We deported the hurricanes, and they can create a mess. Think about it. The hurricanes can create a bigger mess than the Somalians in Minnesota, but we deported them. We made sure that the hurricanes never came in. Unlike you look at Ilhan, right? Ilhan Omar, she has this thing she did with her brother, who, very bad deal for him, by the way. Very bad deal for him marrying that, if that's indeed what happened. It's a very bad deal.
Mr. President, so there's a second story at the news outlet Babylon Bee. I wonder if you could confirm or deny this report. Headline: MRI confirms President Donald Trump has incurable advanced stage patriotism.
Well, that's 100% true. Not only that, but you look at my MRI, and the doctors looked at it. They said, "Sir, something's wrong." I got scared. I said, "What's the problem?" They said, "We've never seen anything like it. It's so beautiful. You're a work of art, sir." And, I got along very well with a lot of people. You may have heard of him, Zeus. He's a Greek god, Zeus, tremendous guy. And he's jealous of my physique. He said, "Sir, your physique, your body, what's your secret?" I said, "A lot of Big Macs, a lot of golf." And you look at the MRI, they look at it. They said, "It looks like you were carved from marble. Look at it." They will make statues of you now. And it's a tremendous thing. They released them. The greatest MRI the world has ever seen. They call it magnetic resonance imaging. It's MAGA resonance imaging. And we're very happy with the results. Beautiful results. It's probably, you think about it, they say it's the greatest MRI the world has ever seen. The greatest results that the world has ever seen. And so, picture perfect health. Just like my phone calls, my health is perfect.
Mr. President, how is the construction on the new ballroom going?
It's going very well. It's a big, beautiful ballroom for You know, we have to fit a lot in there. A lot of beautiful people are going to wind up in the ballroom, and we have the greatest ballroom. It's the Royal Court. It's King Donald's Royal Court, and everybody knows that that's what's going to happen. We're going to have Hakeem Jeffries, who, remember, has a very small teepee, right? You know, he's they call me Chief Golden Eagle with the greatest teepee the world has ever seen. You have Hakeem and Chuck Schumer. They're going to be our jesters in the Royal Court of King Donald. So we're doing very well with the ballroom. It looks great. Melania's not happy about the pile drivers. You know, she's really unhappy. There's a lot of noise, but I said to her, that's progress. It's building. It's going to be beautiful when it's done. And we're going to have the greatest ballroom in the history of the world, the biggest ballroom in the history of the world.
Mr. President, is it true that when you hear the sound of construction, what you really hear is money?
Well, that's been my career for a very long time. I make great deals. I build great things. You know, I built a lot of things with my own two hands, including the ballroom and including the southern border wall. Think about it. I put it together with my own two hands. So
I'm getting the signal from your people there, Mr. President. It's time for you to go and work on peace in Ukraine and Russia and solving the affordability crisis. Mr. President, thanks so much for joining us, but would you ask Sean Farash to stick around? I want to talk with him some more after the break.
We'll do that. He's right here. We'll do that. He's a nice guy.
All right. Mr. President, thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to Sean Farash after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Sean Farash is here with us, an acute analyst of politics in New York State and in Tennessee. Lived here now several years in Tennessee. The big news is in the Tennessee 7 election, Matt Van Epps easily defeated Afton Bain by 9 points. What was your take on this whole thing, Sean?
Well, obviously, it was forecasted to be a little closer than 8.8 or 9 points, as the final results were. So I think there was a little bit of an operation there, a little bit of propaganda, a little bit of gaslighting that it was actually that close. Emerson had a poll that had Van Epps up by, only 2.5 points. They wound up missing well beyond their margin of error. So, look, it was a district that Trump won by 22 points in 2024, but that's a general election and a presidential election. Special elections are much, much different animals, tougher beasts to tame, especially for Republicans. So to expect it to be the same margin would have been ignorant. You saw what happened in Florida with Mike Waltz's district and Matt Gaetz's district earlier this year in April. Those shrank in special elections from 30-point races to 15-point races. So the margin came in half. Similar thing happened here, maybe not to the extent, a little larger than what you saw happen in Florida in April. But it's also important to understand that, Cook, they have the political index, the CPI. 2023 had Tennessee 7 at R plus 10. 2025 had Tennessee 7 at R plus 10, and it wound up being R plus 8.8. So not a 5-alarm fire. Something that Republicans should take note of is the fact that the affordability message, despite the fact that the Democrats are disingenuously arguing about affordability, what they mean is socialism and higher taxes. But that message of affordability is working, and Republicans are going to have to figure out an affordability message that works as well to motivate their base.
Sean, what was your take on Afton Bain, who presented as a crazy radical lunatic in every element of her campaign until she started doing her television ads, and then she suddenly reemerged as, the affordability queen. And then last night, did you catch what she appeared in a rhinestone cowgirl outfit, all glammed up like a country music star. This is the same woman who'd previously said she hates country music, hates Nashville. What was your take on all that?
Well, I think there's like an actual, potentially diagnosable mental condition here with Afton Bain, and I don't say that in jest. This is someone I think who struggles. Maybe there's a dissociative personality disorder or something, because you have this woman who says she hates country music, she hates Nashville, and then when she's explaining that, she's like, yeah, well, I'm somebody who cried in the Country Music Hall of Fame 10 times, and I'm like, that. It doesn't make it better. I don't know anybody who goes into Music Hall of Fames and starts bawling their eyes out. And by the way, keeping count of how many times they did that's kind of strange too. I think she thought she was going to win. I think and most people running the campaign think they're going to win, right? They walk around confident, right? But it's like WWE. Both guys in the wrestling match are like, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat the snot out of you. I'm going to do that. And then someone wins and someone loses, as the script goes, in sports entertainment. But both football teams, before they start a game, they both believe their side's going to win. They're confident in their game plan. She was not just confident, I believe cocky to dress up that way. She thought last night was going to be her night, that they were going to shock the world. And frankly, she did not come close. And it is important to realize that, yes, the margin was thinner than it was in 2024. But that does not mean that last night was a close race. And for a lot of people who were watching it, they saw Davidson. I even saw this, we were talking last night. Davidson County dropped a ton of votes at one point, and it looked, oh my gosh, she's leading. And then you go and you find out that, places like Williamson County, some of these other counties that are red counties weren't reporting yet. And you realize it's going to be all right. And the votes were there. They came in for Matt Van Epps. And again, final score, right? The margin was nearly 9 points. That is not a close race, okay? Yes, it's closer than 20 points, but it is not a close race. And when you look at Cook and their political index and it's 10 points and you have Matt Van Epps winning by 9, that's right in line with where a lot of people thought the district was going to be anyway.
Yeah, I think so. What do you think? Where do you think her political future goes?
I don't know. I'm not sure if she's going to wind up an afterthought like Kamala Harris has become, or if she's going to wind up doing something else here in the state. Maybe something federal. I don't know. I don't know if she'll be some sort of staffer. I hope she fades away. I don't know if she's going to let that happen, but she may need a few more, publicity stunts and whatnot to stay relevant, because this was supposed to be her moment and it was anything but. So I'm happy to see her lose. And the comments that I get a lot of people are like, well, how could Nashville vote for somebody who says that they hate them? It doesn't matter. It's we've talked about this a million times. New York City, they just elected the Muslim Marxist from Manhattan with minuscule muscles, Zoran Mamdani, right? I mean, this is a guy. They'll vote for someone who says that they're going to raise taxes, because by raising taxes, things become more affordable. Like, guys, you pay the taxes. If you're paying taxes, it's not more affordable because you're still paying. Mm-hmm. Republicans have to figure out this affordability message, and I don't know where her future lies. I hope she doesn't have a political future. I hope maybe she'll leave the state because
I think she's gonna continue to raise money around the country. Here's what I think is going to happen with her. In Tennessee, you can run for a state office and a federal office simultaneously. So I think what she's going to do is she's going to run again for the state house. She represents parts of Nashville. And she will run either for one of these two federal offices. She'll either run again for Congress in the 7th Congressional District, or she'll run for the United States Senate against Bill Hagerty. And basically what she'll use it to raise money, because she's not going to win either one. Raise money, raise her profile. And then, are you ready? Are you ready for what happens next? I think what she's really trying to do is get a gig on The View. You like that?
That would be something. And she'd fit right in. She'd fit right in on The View. That's for sure.
She'll wear her rhinestone cowgirl outfit. She'll have all the hair and makeup artists that she never had until she ran for Congress, right? And they'll sit her right in between Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar. What do you think?
Yeah, she'd fit right in there. She'd fit right in there. What a maniac. She really is. I mean, that outfit that she wore last night was absolutely wild. I would love to see her run for Senate. Statewide election, you can't even win in your district. Statewide election against the guy like Bill Hagerty, an established name here in Tennessee. Yeah. She gets smoked, but like you said, she's not in it to win. She'd be in it to raise money. And obviously that would support her lifestyle.
The grift and higher visibility, or MS Now might hire her, right? But I think she's going to take all this national attention, and then the left is trying to spin this as, well, she lost by 9, but they did better. No, not really. I mean, you look at it, you compare it when Mark Green ran in the general election in 2024, he had a candidate that had no money of running against him. In this race, we estimate that all of the Bain contributions and the PACs aligned spent over $6 million, and Matt Van Epps and his allies probably spent $4 million. So she outspent Matt Van Epps. So it's not really that much of a dip when you compare to Mark Green. Now I want to talk a political story outside of Tennessee. You're from New York. Have you followed? There's a bit of a dust-up going on right now between Elise Stefanik, who represents a district of upstate New York and is running for governor, and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, about investigations into Art of Frost, et cetera. Have you followed that, and is there a political motive behind it, in your view?
I don't know what the political motive would be other than Stefanik wants answers, but I have seen it. I saw a little some grumblings about it last night, and I think she raises a good point that we do need to get to the bottom of what the FBI was doing in the previous administration, surveilling politicians and conservative groups. And We've seen this, and this is what happens when these types of offenses go unpunished without consequences. They keep doing that. They got away with Spygate, Crossfire Hurricane, so they did it again under the Biden administration. They think they were even investigating places like Turning Point USA, conservative organizations that were being targeted by the federal government. It was the old show me the man and I'll show you the crime kind of process versus, hey, we think there's probable cause that a crime was committed. Let's investigate and see. They're investigating a person in search of a crime, not a crime in search of a person. She's right to want answers. I don't know if this is part of her maybe campaign strategy for New York. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I have seen that there was a little bit of a dust-up and a disagreement among those two.
I think it's part of her campaign strategy. I think she wants to I think she's trying to appeal to independent voters in New York State with this. That's just a guess, but she's been totally aligned with Speaker Johnson from the very beginning. This is the first time that there's something going on, so I think that may be part of it. But hey, look, she's running against what the Botox bandit from Buffalo, the Bucktooth Botox bandit from Buffalo. And, the polling from Siena had her down significantly against Hochul. So, she's serious about winning. I think that's probably it. Hey, when we come back, are you okay with talking about a little football?
Oh, of course. Let's go.
Look,
Football.
We've got Lane Kiffin going to LSU, and then we've got the New York Giants. The New York Jets actually won. Holy cow.
I know.
Tyrod Taylor delivers. Back after this with our good friend Sean Frosh.
EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We're talking with our good friend Sean Farrar. Sean, let's talk a little bit football. You know, you're originally from upstate New York, or from Long Island. I'm from upstate New York. On the East Coast, football is entertainment. But here in the South, in the Southeastern Conference, football, college football, is a religion. And let's talk about the big story that happened over the weekend. Lane Kiffin, the bad boy of college football, who had built up Ole Miss to be 11-1, ranked number 7 right now, will be in the college football playoff championship. He bolted and went to LSU, and it was an acrimonious divorce. He says, I wanted to coach the team throughout the playoffs, but they wouldn't let me, even though I was going to LSU. What's your take about Lane Kiffin and his ignominious departure from Ole Miss to for greener pastures in LSU?
I don't understand why he couldn't wait till after the playoff to make the decision. Like if I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm saying, hey, I'm committed to Ole Miss right now, and if and when our playoff run ends, or if we win the national championship, I'll make my decision about next year. I don't understand why he had to do it this way, and it's a bad look for him. I mean, if you're LSU, how do you feel confident that he's not going to do the same thing to you if Alabama comes calling, right? I mean, Think about it. So it's kind of scary, right? I mean, this is kind of the stuff that I said. It's the same kind of idea that I have regarding Marjorie Taylor Greene, where people are like, she's going to run for president, she's going to run for Senate, and I'm like, the only way that, you know, the easiest way I think to sideline any of those expectations or those campaigns is to get on the debate stage with her and say, you quit once, how do we know you're not going to quit again, right? And so it's crazy. The way that Kiffin departed Ole Miss. I feel bad for Ole Miss. Good for LSU. He's a great coach. But, you know, I mean, I can't help but think he's a little bit of a flake right after what he did here.
He's a bit of a flake. You know, he was his coaching career is just a string of people who hate his guts where he used to work. Tennessee. He was here as the head coach of Tennessee one season, had a 7-6 record, bolted for Southern Cal. Bolted. And before that, he got fired. He was the head coach of the Raiders. He got fired, and Al Davis called him like the biggest liar ever. Then he comes back, and is head coach of Tennessee Volunteers. And he bolts after a year. He goes to Southern Cal. They fire him in the middle of his third year. He kind of crawls back to Alabama, where he's an analyst. He goes to the Nick Saban school of rehabbing fired coaches, and builds himself up to be the offensive coordinator. He's got kind of a dicey relationship with Saban, right? Then he gets that job with with Florida Atlantic, does well there, but then obviously the big lights. He goes to Ole Miss. He gets a huge amount of NIL money from the alumni there, huge amount, and is able to coach it well. But before he can, finish the national championship run, he bolts for LSU. Do you think he's going to win a national championship in LSU, or does he bolt for Alabama if that job comes open?
I don't know, but I can't help but think that he keeps doing this. He's like a politician, right?
Yeah.
That keeps like working his way up the ladder. I mean, we've seen this. But really, your players too. I mean, your coach is a quitter, right? Like he's not committed. It's just, I don't know. I wouldn't like playing for a guy like that. Knowing that tomorrow he may not be there. It's gonna be hard to get any of your players or anybody in the system to buy into a guy who's not bought in himself, and he's proven that his whole career.
He really has. But now the other question for you is, okay, who do you like in the college football playoffs? Who do you think is going to ultimately win the college football championship?
I got to go with Ohio State. I mean, they just look far and away better than everybody. It's hard to, I want to be the guy. Oh, pick an upset. We'll do that.
They look
Ohio
really
State.
good.
I feel like that's it.
Yeah, they're playing.
They look really good.
Number 1 Ohio State plays Indiana over the weekend. Number 2, I think that Indiana, the coach there, has done a great job, but Ohio State looks really strong. I mean, if I had to guess right now, I'm with you. Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship and wins the national championship. That would be my guess. Which of the college football teams that should get into the 12-field playoff are not going to make it?
But the Volunteers. No, I don't know. Hometown answer, right? They just lost to Vanderbilt. I haven't followed the whole selection committee. I got to be honest, I don't like that whole selection thing. But there's so many teams, so I get you can't just go by record. So I'll be a hometown fan and say Tennessee should make it, even though they honestly they're
8-4. They won't make it. But Vanderbilt is probably not going to make it. They're 10-2. And then Texas is 9-3. Even though they beat A&M, I don't think they'll make it either. It will be interesting to see if the ACC gets anybody. You got the championship game, Virginia. What are they?
That's Virginia and Duke, right?
Yeah, Duke's 7-5. They're not going to give. If Duke wins,
a weird championship game.
They're not getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. And Miami, they maybe Miami. We'll see. Okay, now let's one more college football thing, then we'll go to the NFL and your revived New York Jets. Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Diego Pavia, the quarterback from Vanderbilt. What do you think?
Yeah, he was impressive. I watched the game that they had against Tennessee last weekend, and he was impressive, making a lot of moves with his legs, doing it with his arm. He's a Tennessee guy, right? He's here in the state anyway. So, we could root for him. Mendoza, I think, is another one, right, from Indiana, the quarterback. He's in conversations, right, about possibly being a top draft pick in the NFL. So obviously I'll be watching that game over the weekend because he may wind up a Jet, which means his career ends before it starts, or doesn't start until 3 years, until after the Jets cut him. Look at Sam Darnold, who's not a great quarterback, but he's a good quarterback, but probably better than anything we have on the roster right now. But Pavia looked great last weekend. He really did.
I hope he wins. I think it'll probably be either Mendoza or who's the guy out of Ohio State, the quarterback? Salen, is that his name? The quarterback there? Sayan. Okay, now let's go to your favorite. The New York Jets. They won. They dumped Justin Fields as quarterback, put in longtime veteran Tyrod Taylor, and they won. They beat the Falcons. What was it, 27-24?
On Nick Folk, 58-yard field goal at the end of the game or something like that. He nailed it. Guy's a great kicker. He's kicked for us once before, and they beat the Falcons. To the dismay of people trying to tank for draft position. But, these players are paid. They're professionals. They all want to win. And if there's a silver lining to the team not embracing the tank, right, and just going right in and just, losing for the sake of getting a draft pick, is that they're still bought into this head coach. Aaron Glenn is doing what he can with a bad roster. And they're playing hard for him. They want to win, as we said. And here's the thing about Tyrod Taylor. I think he's overlooked in the NFL. This is a guy, he's a quarterback, does not turn the ball over often, and that's very important. He's not going to make the big play. He's not a flashy guy. He plays the game very calm, cool, collected, nonchalant. He can make moves with his legs. Obviously, he gives the team the best chance to win. The argument could be made that they should have gone to him sooner instead of Justin Fields. But I get it. The Jets committed a lot of money to Fields. They want to know what they have. I think they realize they don't have much. And so, they go to Taylor. He gives them their best opportunity to win, and they beat the Falcons. I would be lying if I said I'm happy that they won this stage of the year versus that they won earlier, and maybe convinced us that they could play some meaningful football down the stretch. But at least they didn't quit on their coach. At least they're all still playing relatively hard. There's still a lot to get done in New York, but it looks like Glenn's going to be the guy. So,
the worst ownership team group, or at least decision-making wise. I think it at one time it was the New York Jets. Right now, I think it's got to be the Tennessee Titans. I mean, I think so. They fire Mike Vrabel. They bring in.
Look what he's doing now.
They bring in this Brian Callahan kid, who thinks probably a fine enough coach. They fire him, and when the Titans are 1-5, they've gone on and lost 6 more games. Or 1-11. The Titans are terrible. In the year and a half since they fired Mike Vrabel, I think the Titans are like 4-27, something like that. Meanwhile, in New England, Mike Vrabel comes in. The New England Patriots are 11 wins and 2 losses in year 1. They have the best record in the NFL. They've got a great young quarterback in this Drake May. Drake May, I mean, I think what you've got, he's a second-year quarterback, right? But what you've got, quite possibly, is another decade of Tom Brady-type quarterback there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna pump the brakes on comparing May to Brady, just because it's not fair, I think, to Drake May, right? And fine, if the New England fans want to do that, go ahead, because you're going to be putting a lot of pressure on the kid a little early in his career, and it's hard not to when you're talking about the Patriots and they had Brady, right? But it's like comparing every San Francisco 49ers quarterback to Joe Montana, right? These are generational guys, right? Yeah. But good quarterback play, solid quarterback play. You don't need the greatest of all time to win a Super Bowl. You need a quarterback who's not going to turn the ball over, plays the game at a high level, high football IQ, can manage the offense, can make big plays when he needs it, and that's exactly what they're getting out of Drake May. So, he may not put up Brady numbers every year, but the most important numbers that you put up at the end of every game is either a win or a loss.
Yeah, that's it.
Did you win or did you lose?
Yeah.
And it's 11-2 for the New England Patriots right now. It's hard to argue with that success.
And I've got
it's soft schedule, I get it, but they still won the games.
But here's the thing about the Patriots. I think it's a really great organization, kind of reverting to the early days of the Belichick-Brady combination, in the sense that not only do you have a great head coach in Mike Vrabel, who's a player's coach. I mean, he won 3 Super Bowls. He got 2 touchdown passes in Super Bowls. He was a linebacker, but they used him on occasion. He's a tough player. And then you've got, Josh McDaniel, the offensive coordinator, who it looks like his best purpose in life is to be the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots and not a head coach anymore. That's right. And I think he's realizing that, and he's doing a great job there. Then the other thing I like about the Patriots as a team, they have the Pastronaut, Josh Dobbs, as their backup quarterback. Now, they may not need him very much, but when they need him, he delivers. And it's just a winning organization, in my view. Your thoughts, Sean Farash?
Yeah, they have a culture of winning now, and the Patriots didn't always have that culture. And then you had Brady and Belichick, and they established that culture, and they established standards, and then they departed from those standards when they went through, Jared Mayo. And now they brought a guy, in Mike Vrabel, who played in the Belichick system early on. Mayo did as well a little bit later on. But Vrabel, a guy with a proven track record, he did well here in Tennessee, and he is doing incredibly well in New England, coaching those guys hard. They play hard for this guy.
Yeah.
And it's impressive. It's impressive. I'm a little upset that it's once again in the AFC East, but it's impressive. And, I can't say that I'm happy for the Patriots because it is at the detriment of my team. But, Vrabel was my pick to be the Jets head coach. I wanted him to be the Jets head coach this year, and I think we're all seeing why.
Well, I think he was smart to pick the Patriots. That's all I'm going to say on that.
He was.
Yeah, Sean. Hey, stick around for News Potpourri if you'd like. We'll be back after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Solti for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Solti and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Solti, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Solti
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Our guest, the one, the only, Sean Farash, the very best Trump impersonator in the world. Sean, you know what time it is? It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program where we talk about the stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of
irony.
Irony. Now, this is true irony. This is weird. Here's a headline from Mediaite. I'd like to get your reaction to this. Hillary Clinton. Actually, she's kind of right on this. Hillary Clinton says young Americans are pro-Palestine because they watch totally made-up videos of Gaza horrors. Former First Lady and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton complained at a conference hosted by an Israeli newspaper on Tuesday that young Americans were becoming sympathetic toward Palestinians because they watch totally made-up videos of the horrors in Gaza. Quote, smart, well-educated young people from our own country, from around the world, where were they getting their information? They were getting their information from social media, primarily on TikTok. That's where they were learning about what happened on October 7th, what happened in the days, weeks, months to follow. That's a serious problem. It's a serious problem for democracy, whether it's Israel or the United States, and it's a serious problem for our young people. I'm shocked to say, Sean, I think in this instance, Hillary Clinton is right. Your thoughts?
Ooh, that was hard for you to say. It's hard for me to say, too. I'm glad you said it first. I don't want to agree with Hillary Clinton. But in this case, you know what they say, right? The blind squirrel finds a nut. That's exactly what happened. The broken clock, right, is right twice a day.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton is right less than a broken clock. But she's right here. I mean, there's a lot of propaganda that is radicalizing people on social media. Videos that are AI generated or not telling the full story, people putting out numbers about deaths and damage done in Gaza from the Gaza Health Ministry, which is, run by Hamas. I mean, you can't trust them. And so she's not wrong. You see on platforms like TikTok, where not too long ago, Osama bin Laden's letter to America went viral. And you had a bunch of young people reading it as, he kind of had a point. No, he didn't. Okay. You can't sell me terrorism and say, yeah, the terrorist has a point. No. So in this case, Hillary Clinton is right. Now, I wish she would apply that to where a lot of her voters get a lot of information and how they get information that isn't necessarily correct. Like, Donald Trump is working with the Russians to rig the 2016 election. That was all propaganda that was force-fed through mainstream media channels to their voters. So kind of the same thing. It's ironic that she's bringing it up in this case, but not in other cases.
Sean, I was on the John Fredericks radio program earlier this morning, and he cited a poll that I was not familiar with, and which he said that the majority of 18 to 25-year-old kids in America today are pro-Palestinian and anti-Israeli. I don't know if that's true. Have you seen any information on that? And does that ring true to you or not?
Yeah, I've seen those numbers. I don't know if it's accurate enough to make that, to paint with the brush that broad, but there's no doubt that there is a declining level of support for Israel among younger people. And I believe Hillary and many others, there have been people who have been saying it before she said it. I believe it's absolutely accurate to look at where they get their information from and the accuracy of information that they're receiving and how they're digesting it.
Yeah, and I'm guessing what that means. They get a lot from TikTok. And TikTok, say what you will.
Instagram too.
Yeah, but TikTok is not going away. Instagram's not going away. I think the bottom line is, and you are way ahead of us on this, I think if you want to reach younger people today, you're going to have to communicate to them in 1 minute, 2 minute videos that get your point across and are visible on TikTok and Instagram. It seems to me.
And you don't have to back it up. This is the crazy part. You don't have to back up what you say. You can say something sensational and then leave it off with a question, and people will take that and run with it as if what you just were told is the absolute truth. And that's what social media has become. It has become a melting pot of sensationalism, essentially. And everyone's trying to outdo each other, where the truth winds up getting neglected.
I think you're right. A melting pot of sensationalism. I like that phrase. Okay, here's another story. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan has subpoenaed former special counsel Jack Smith today for a deposition, escalating Republicans' investigation to one of President Trump's top political foes. Jordan directed Smith to appear before the committee on December 17th, according to a copy of the subpoena reviewed by Fox News Digital. Quote, due to your service as special counsel, the committee believes that you possess information that is vital to its oversight of this matter. Question for you. Will Jack Smith show up for that deposition?
No, I hope he does. I think he will. I think he'll show up. The first question I would ask is, when's the last time you shaved that beard? It looks like his chin threw up. But
True.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
True.
I think he'll show up, though. I think he'll show up, and how much information he gives or divulges remains to be seen. But I do think he's going to show up, and I hope they put him through the ringer. This thing is, where do these investigations ever go?
Okay, so
right,
here
like
is another
are there going to be consequences?
Interesting angle for you, Sean. There's a report, and I don't know if this is really true, but there's a report that possibly Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Steelers, who are only 6-6 this year, is under consideration for a job as the head coach at Penn State University. What are your thoughts on that, Sean Farash?
Really? Well, I was thinking if Tomlin was on the outs that I would fire Aaron Glenn and bring him into New York. But my worst nightmare would be if Mike Tomlin wound up coaching, let's say, the Miami Dolphins. So you would have McDermott in Buffalo, you would have Vrabel in New England, you would have Tomlin in Miami, and then Aaron Glenn in New York. in the AFC East, we'd be like the only team without a good head coach. But if he goes to Penn State, gets out of the NFL, I think that would be good for him. I think it would be good for the Steelers.
Very good point. Hey, Sean, thank you so much for
there.
joining us today. Yeah. It is always a great pleasure to have you here. We'll see you next Wednesday. And people go and go on the internet and track down everything Sean Farash is doing, the greatest Trump impersonator in the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Our website, TennesseeStar.com. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
FlatFeeNashville.com, FlatFeeNashville.com.